Carelessness and stupidity can kill. What else is new? Be safe and smart, people, and enjoy this video of some of the most dangerous places on Earth. Number 9. Black Silt Hole of Death. Cave diving is one of the scariest things I've ever heard of. First of all, you're going deep underwater. Second, it's dark. Third, sometimes the spaces in the cave can be a tight fit, and you have to figure out how to maneuver through it with your gear on. Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. But this is a hobby lots of people actually enjoy. Blows my mind. In the Gulf of Thailand, you can find the Black Silt Hole of Death. It's just a hole near a fishing village. A less intimidating name it's been given is the Shamsin Hole, and it's the deepest diving site you can find near the nation of Thailand, at 280 feet below sea level. It draws in a lot of tourists, and that is the beginning of why this is known as the Hole of Death. You see, the Shamsin Hole is known for having very strong currents, which can easily take a person where they don't want to go. You'll also have to deal with ships like oil tankers moving around in the area, which can cause even more problems. That same water hole is full of creatures that aren't afraid to harm humans either, like barracudas. If the description so far doesn't sound like a hole of death to you, then you need to know that the United States at one point used the Shamsin Hole as a place to dump ammunition. Unused, unexploded ammunition. What? Which is still down there and can still be blown up. Despite all these dangers, many have gone down into the hole, which has left many divers, both experienced and not experienced, dead. I have no idea why anyone would want to do this. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Number 8. Snake Island. This island is definitely getting crossed off the islands to see list. Snake Island in Brazil is named very appropriately, for on this island are snakes that won't just bite you, they will straight up kill you. At one time, the island was connected to Brazil properly by a land bridge. Because of that, the snakes went from the mainland to the island to live, probably to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Yet eventually, the waters of the area rose so much so that the land bridge was taken away, and the snakes remained on the island, which I'm thinking is probably a good thing, right? Among those deadly snakes in the island is the golden lanceheads, a species of pit viper, and it's one of the most poisonous snakes on the planet. Not to mention, they are able to attack from the land and the trees, so nowhere is out of reach for them if you get to the island. When you can use the term infested to talk about a snake population, that's a lot of snakes on one island. It's estimated that there are between 2,000 and 4,000 of them. There's pretty much a snake on the island for every square meter. The island is off limits to anyone outside of the Navy and a few scientists who want to study the snakes. Yikes, I am so not going. Number 7. The Outback. Oi, alright mate, picture the wild outback of Australia. That was my Australian accent, and no, I'm not gonna do it again. You're welcome. Okay, so picture Australia. You're probably thinking the city Sydney. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney? Anyways, there are vast amounts of coastlines that literally encompass the continent and various animals that reside within the landmass. However, what most people forget is that a huge amount of Australia is uninhabited. The people there prefer to stay on the outer limits and basically refuse to go into the major inland area known as the Outback, for good reasons. It's a place of legend and wonder. Today, only the boldest and bravest dare to go into the Outback region. Not only is the heat so intense, the Outback sun has enormous energy, which on average is about 110 degrees, there are also creatures there that provide some bonus dangers. Poisonous snakes. Don't go looking for them. Poisonous spiders. The deadliest being the funnel web spider, though no one has died from a spider bite here since the antivenom was introduced in the early 80s. But still, crocodiles, mate. There are two kinds in the Outback, freshwater and saltwater crocs. Freshies are typically smaller and shy fish eaters, and probably won't bother you if you don't bother them. Saltwater crocs, on the other hand, eat people, and will eat you. They are huge, mean, smart, and unpredictable. There are also dingoes, and not-so-nice kangaroos, and more. If you decide to go into the Outback, you need to make sure you have a mapped-out plan, and probably a guide or a person who's been there before, because if you get stranded, you'll find yourself in trouble very fast. Number 6. Yanise River. The Yanise River in Russia is the true divider between East and West Siberia. It's also one of the world's largest rivers. It's so massive that it actually goes right through many major cities in Russia, which is why it's so important. However, while the river is big time, it's also super contaminated. This happened by Bolshoi Bolshak, a plutonium factory that would make bombs, and they've been putting the discharge from this process into the river for decades, making it full-on radioactive as a result. Bosses say there is no real harm that can be had by dumping the waste into the river. Yet, a bunch of communities alongside the river have reported numerous cancers as well as genetic defects. Plus, people eat fish from the river, not sure why, but that also contributes to these terrible health conditions. So, should you ever find yourself near this river, don't go swimming. Number 5. Death Valley. Death Valley, another appropriate name, is a 3,000 square mile range of flatlands and burning hot desert that can be easy to get lost in. It's one of the hottest places on Earth, and since it's a desert, it can also be dangerously cold in the winter months. In the beginning, many were trying to cross the desert, that is Death Valley, in order to get to California during the legendary gold rush. But because they didn't fully understand how perilous this massive stretch of land was, they didn't come prepared for the heat and the intense reactions their bodies would have to it. They all died, and Death Valley was born. Lots of people still go to Death Valley to this day to experience it for themselves. At times, like I just stated about the gold rush people don't prepare for all that the desert can bring, and they suffer as a result. Now, there are places within Death Valley that are safe to go to, including a national park. There's some awesome sand dunes out there, but you'd be wise to stay inside those confines, else pay the price. Number 4. Death Road. If a place is called Death Road, you probably shouldn't take that too lightly. In Bolivia, the North Youngest Road is indeed known as just that, for a very good reason. When it was constructed, back in the 1930s, it was not built to be the safest road ever. It was only designed to connect the capital of Bolivia to a local town. It had very few safety features, and the turns that had to be made could easily be missed or not done precisely enough, and this caused many deaths. This is all before you add in factors like heavy fogs, landslides, and dangerous drivers who don't mind the road. It eventually got so bad that another road was built to bypass the path the Death Road had taken, just so that people wouldn't have to take that one. Though there are still some that do. And so people still die on this road. An estimated 300 people per year perished on the road before the newer one was built in 2006. Los Yungas is truly beautiful though, a lush cloud forest rich in vegetation which marks where the Andes drop down into the Amazon. Take in the views, by all means, but try not to get distracted enough to fall off a cliff. Should you find your way to Bolivia and feel like taking this road, do be careful, else you might be the road's next victim. Number 3. Siberia. According to popular stereotypes, it is always winter in Siberia, and brown bears walk the streets. In other words, it's a dangerous place. Siberia covers almost 10% of the Earth's land surface, bordering both the Mongolian frontier to the south and the icy shores of the Arctic Ocean. It's a frigid tundra that has average temperatures in the negatives, and that can drive people crazy because of how long and harsh they can be. It's so harsh that many Russian prisons and labor camps are stationed there because they're seen as perfect places to hold people. After all, where would they go if they escape? Granted, not all of Siberia is a frozen wasteland. The mass population within the area go to places where the summers are nice and tropical, but other areas don't have that kind of luxury. And about the bears, sure, there's a lot of them, but it truly differs on the area you're in. Most of the time, they are forced to approach human settlements because the forest fires or a poor harvest of nuts and berries. In reality, though, bears prefer not to meet us, and the feeling is pretty mutual. And just as in Europe and the US or Australia, You can experience warm hospitality, but you may also run into some trouble. One day you meet very kind people, while the next day you might encounter drunk and gloomy strangers. Remember though, this can happen pretty much anywhere in the world. You'll want to be careful if you do decide to travel here, because you won't want to end up in the wrong area. Number 2, Amazon Rainforest. Is anyone really surprised the Amazon Rainforest is on this list? It's a place that is full of life, while also being full of mystery. Those that don't appreciate the danger of the Amazon are in for a rude awakening. First and foremost, the Amazon is home to many dangerous creatures: snakes, spiders, piranha, blood-sucking leeches, jaguars, electric eels, disease-carrying mosquitoes, giant centipedes. Even sharks are in the Amazon River within certain areas, and that's just to name a few. The weather is also a factor. With how much it rains here, you can easily find yourself drowning. And when it's not raining, you may be getting burned by the intense heat. Further adding to its danger, we don't have it all mapped out. We know its boundaries, but every time someone has tried to get closer to the heart of the forest, they have to turn back, leaving many questions about what else is in the forest that we haven't explored. There are even reports that tribes reside within, and they want no contact with other humans, adding another reason to not go wandering into the Amazon. Number 1, Florida. No, I am not joking. At first, this may seem like a joke because Florida is a beautiful state within the US that is full of wonderful beaches, amazing theme parks like Disney World and Universal, and people go there to retire, right? So how could it, of all things, be one of the most dangerous places in the world? The answer to that is timing, context, and placement. Let's start with that last one first. As great as Florida is in terms of a tropical paradise, when it comes to its location, it's smack dab in the range of virtually every hurricane that comes through the Pacific Ocean, including one that barely missed the state recently. Now, yes, obviously not all hit, but when they do, they can be devastating, which is the problem. And so anyone who lives in Florida, especially ones that live near the coastline, are in immediate danger, which is more of the state than you might realize. But obviously, that's not all. Florida is known to be a very strange place. The term stranger than an average day in Florida is a thing because weird people and weird things happen in Florida that literally can't be explained. Remember that bath salt zombie person? Have you seen Dexter? There's also numerous animals that live there, like crocodiles and the snake infestation that many Floridans have to deal with on a regular basis. And then there is the current status of Florida. Florida is a state that apparently doesn't really care about the coronavirus, and as such, they have taken very few measures to try and prevent its spread, including state law enforcement being banned from wearing face masks, and they're opening schools because they feel it's more important than the safety of their citizens. So when you put all of these factors together, you get a place that is full of dangerous things in the external sense, internal sense, natural sense, and even people sense. Thanks for watching. What did you think of some of these dangerous places? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!